What's up? I'm Trey Songz, and what you're about to watch is an exclusive DVD because you bought your CD from Target. The new album is entitled Ready, and what that basically means for me is I've evolved throughout the years as an artist, and from my first album to my second album to this album now, and I feel like this album will be the most vast evolution between albums and between the first time fans saw me. So I think it's a word that embodies so much with just one word. It's bold, and to be ready means that nothing can stop you, you know? And I feel like nothing can stop me from doing what I plan to do. I always say my first album was like an introduction piece, whereas though, you know, your first album, you can't really do but so much as far as creativity is concerned, because people view you a certain way. When the way your imagery is portrayed from the beginning is hard to get outside of that. So from the first album to the second album, it was like from an introduction piece to a more contemporary piece that kind of had more like hip-hop edge to it, a little sexier, a little bit of growth as far as from a boy to man thing is concerned. And I think for this album, it's great growth. Vocally, the song material, and I think this is the most cohesive body of work as far as all the types of music I make, from the hip-hop to the mixtapes to the Can't Help But Wait type of Last Time, type of Gotta Go, Gotta Make It feel. I think this embodies all of that. Fans on this album can expect to hear me do some things they might never have heard me do before, like stepping outside of the box. I got one song that's kind of like a rock feel on it. I got a few songs that are kind of crossover appeal. Of course, I got some sexy songs on there. And I think you can expect to be wowed. You know, you can expect, and I don't say that arrogantly, I say it very confidently, because we put a lot into it, and I'm very proud of it. I think the process differed from Trey Day more so than Gotta Make It, because we created most of the album back in the basement again, you know? In the basement in Atlanta with all the producers living together, my manager, my producer, myself. Jonte Austin was different in this process. He co-executive produced and he submitted a few great songs. The preparation was a bit different. Just my approach on what songs and what I needed to do. I'm 2 albums in now. I have a core fan audience. What do I do to get the new fans? What do I do to expand? That was always in the thought process. The song selection, even my new single, I Need a Girl, may have been considered a risk for some because it's got that Stargate appeal to it. You know what I mean? I'm not known for really doing that. Although Can't Help But Wait was my biggest record, which was produced by Stargate, it had more of an urban feel than this lead single. The message I want to convey with this new album isn't as much in the music as it is in the man or the person. It's because I come from a very, like my first album was entitled I Gotta Make It. And I come from a very economically depressed, poverty-stricken city. And for me to make it to my 3rd album successfully and to be a symbol of success. And I think what this album is going to do for me as far as numbers-wise, as far as helping take care of my family, as far as success is concerned, will speak more in volumes than the actual music will. As far as the music, for those that do music, for those that don't, I think every step I take towards success is something letting people know that you could do it as well if you go hard. You know what I mean? Because I've always been considered an underdog in this game, and I think this will be the album to take me out of that element. And a lot of people know how hard I work, and it lets people know that if you work hard, you can have whatever you dream. A lot of people skyrocketed to success very early. Mine's has been, I'm not gonna say I have to work harder than the next man or nothing, but mine's would seem as though it's came slower or it's been a harder road. And a lot of people from the outside looking in don't understand that. When you get somebody you like, man, I love him. He don't get the prop. Nobody else understands. Like, and I think it's to the point now where the group of people who love Trey Songz and think that he should get more props is growing. So if you got 1 million people thinking you're an underdog, you're really not an underdog no more, you know? The writing process for me is I might write a song in my BlackBerry. I might like write notes down, or I might be going throughout my day and see something like that be a dope song, or have an idea come to my head and write a note down. It never really, like, it's very seldom that I write something in my BlackBerry and come back to it and write a song for it, because I don't write on paper or anything like that. If I record myself, like I sit at the mic, I press the buttons and I sing in the mic. So if it's tracks playing, it usually has to come to me instantaneously, or I'll just leave it, because I feel like it should speak to me, like, kind of, sort of. When the track comes on, if I don't have words or at least a melody or a thought for it within the first 10, 15 minutes, like have a great idea, I'll go into the next one. Even if it's great, like it's not about the track not being great, it's about the matrimony being between myself and the track. I wrote most of the songs on it. This actually is the album where it's been most writers come in on the project, and Jonte Austin co-executive produced the album. And it's funny because I've known Jonte since I was like 14, but this is the first time we've actually worked. But he knows me. He knows my lifestyle. He knows me as a person. So accepting songs from somebody that knows me versus somebody that's just submitting songs to what they think they know about an artist or what they think an artist needs was much more acceptable for me. So we got songs from him. He's got 3 songs he wrote by himself on there. 1 song we wrote together, 1 song Sean Garrett wrote, and 1 song Diane Warren wrote, who has won like 30 Grammys. So I damn sure ain't have a problem taking a song from her. And everything else I wrote. There's a song called Love Lost. And it's close to true to life, but it isn't all the way. Like I tend to write songs about situations I've been in and then think about it later, like, damn, I wrote that about something I've been through, but I don't really write a lot about close to life stuff intentionally. You know, it's kind of you go through an experience and you're writing and it runs through you and you're like, and that's me. So it's a song called Love Lost. It's a few songs on there that are definitely close to something I've been through. In a lot of ways, I'm a normal person, but in a lot of other ways, I'm not, because I don't do the things that the average person does. There's only so many people in the world that entertain. You know what I mean? Most people, like statistic-wise, don't do what I do or live life the way that I live. Like, so a lot of situations I encounter may be different, like outside of the normal love and, you know, the normal day-to-day things that people go through. I like to look at situations of the average working person, or, you know, somebody that's dealing with neutral situations, because I'm never in the same place. My life is very different from the average person. So to write about my life sometimes would alienate people that don't do what I do. I don't know if I really have a formula. Well, Troy Taylor, he's always on every album. He's like the second half of me musically. So he's definitely a part of every process. We might start with doing a lot of songs together just to get back in the vibe of recording, because throughout the year when I'm promoting the album or doing radio or doing tours, I don't record as much. So when it comes time to go in and record, we may start with a few goofy songs, just acting out, getting our creative juices flowing or whatever. And from there, it's kind of the same, I guess. We do a whole bunch of songs, whether it be from other people, trying other things that other people send in, or the songs that we do on our own. It's always a cancellation process to what's best for what we already know we have in our mind that hasn't been brought to sound yet. So I wouldn't say this album the process was too much different. I've always wanted to be an artist that could be respected by men and adored by women. That was something I wanted from the beginning of my career. And I think the collaborations I do, like Jeezy or Rick Ross or Plies or Jim Jones, they work because it's believable. When you see me standing next to them, when you see me singing a record with them, it's not two different worlds. And that's key in my style and my music, everything, that I can fit into both worlds without looking out of place in either. Well, I do a lot of mixtape records that show creativity and show that I do things that other R&B artists don't. And I think it's just where I come from and the way I was brought up. It's not too many R&B artists that men can vouch for and say, like, I think songs like The Last Time or my first album, Cheat on You, or Gotta Go, Gotta Make It, an R&B song. You think back to Marvin Gaye and Al Green and all, they made songs that weren't always just about love. You know, they made songs that were about situations and things that occur. Like I say, I channel from what other people are going through. Gotta Make It was definitely a song that channeled what I was going through at that time. And when I do the mixtape records or I do a hip-hop record with an artist, if you ever notice, hip-hop artists nowadays, they're more storytellers than R&B singers, because in R&B now, it's redundant. No matter what it is, it gets to be the same story. In rap, I can't say that it isn't redundant, but I can say that it's more of an authentic story that they're telling about themselves, because it's more accepted for a rapper to kick it how he went through it than for an R&B singer to kick it like that, because they just wanted, R&B singers are quote unquote generic. I stay true to myself. A lot of people think if I get with this person or do this or do that, my career would have took off a little faster, or if I'd have done things differently than I had. Not to say anything specific, but it's certain things as a man that I must do to remain true to me, true to what I know, true to what all I've learned. And I think that's one thing that men respect about another man. If you're real, you can see that. You know, if it's a facade, if it's something you're putting on just for the stage or the TV, I think that reflects too. So, it's always a little bit of something there, because you're entertaining, you're a product, you're giving something, you're selling a brand. So that's obvious, but the authenticity is very important. Being on stage and seeing all the love and seeing the way people react, it exudes a bit of confidence in myself, swagger boost, you know what I mean? It's definitely a lot of love reciprocated from the love I'm getting. So when I'm performing, I make sure that my fans know that they are appreciated and that I'm not just here for them, but they here for me. New York City is definitely a favorite city to perform in, because it's kind of like the Mecca of the world. You know, everybody that's from anywhere wants to go to New York at least once. So to perform here and sell out a concert hall or something is definitely a great feat. Well, New York is always showing me love. You know, a lot of people say New York is rough, and you know, you get to New York and they're so used to seeing people that they might not go crazy for you like they would in Mobile, Alabama or somewhere. But New York always is ecstatic, and the vibe in the air is always crazy when I'm here. So I think it's more about the vibe and all that New York is, and definitely the crowd. Internationally, I've collaborated with a lot of artists, Maria Jose in Mexico, Reptile in Germany, Repstar in Sweden, I in Japan. And they all come about kind of sort of because when I step into a region, as an outside artist from America, I don't want to just be notarized for something that's so far and so distant. And when I get into an area, I like to kind of create a bond with them that makes me feel closer to them and show that I respect their artist as well. So that's went over well. Like I did the Japanese MTV Awards before I even had a record out over there. So, and that happened because of that. And I get shows and money in a lot of different places that weren't playing my record before because I did a record with their artists first. I'm going to Africa soon. I'm going to Nigeria. And the fact that my music has traveled that far is mind-blowing to me. I'm from Petersburg, Virginia, very small populated town. And the fact that I can go do a concert and get paid for it, to go to Africa, where humanity began, you know? Like that's amazing to me, so I'm very excited about that. And if I had to say there's one place that I would want to perform that I haven't yet, it definitely is Africa. The internet is most definitely a big tool. I think it should be for any artist or anybody trying to promote any brand in this day and age, because the internet is on your phone. The internet is not just a big block computer that doesn't move anymore. It's something you take everywhere you go. And you got these blogs that have turned into newspapers and news channels. You know, people rely on the internet for news. And for me, I use it very well. I have MySpace, I have a Twitter, I have a Facebook, like all that. But the double-edged sword is that for a lot of artists, you can't give the fans everything, because then you're not that star. Like, you still want to be reachable, you want to show love, you don't want to be on Pluto, but you still want to be attainable, and you still want to have that mystique. Like, you think back in the day, what made artists like Michael Jackson so big is that he talked in that light little voice that you never really knew if that was his speaking voice. And then 2 months ago, he does a press conference and his voice is 3 tones deeper, you know what I mean? Like, but you never really knew these people. And the thing about the Twitters and the Facebook now is you have to use it strategically as to where fans ain't like, oh, that's just Trey. You know what I mean? Like, so I use it, and I use it intelligently. And I think it's definitely something you have to use because it's so strong, but you don't want to oversaturate yourself, and it's so easy to do. I was nominated for a Grammy this last year. That definitely was big for me. I didn't believe it when I first heard it because my mom told me. She didn't believe it either because she's very heavy on my fan site, and she found out there before anywhere else. So it was kind of like surreal for me. Like, we sat on the floor, like right behind a whole bunch of big stars, like 5 rows back and all that. So it was definitely something that let me know that I'm in the game, you know what I mean? Like, I'm where I need to be and I'm doing what I need to do. I'm not tripping on winning or none of that at this point, because it's a blessing just to be within the elite, if you will. And I hope to take some home in my career. Having a stylist introduces you to a lot of different things when you do photo shoots or videos. And my stylist will bring in the newest this or the newest that. And sometimes she go a little far with what I would be willing to try, but her introducing me to these name brands and different cuts and different lines and stuff I never really knew anything about, and the way a shirt should really fit and stuff like that. Because I'm from an urban community where we wear everything big. If I have a big show where it's going to be a lot of press, a stylist will come in. Big shout out to Becca Alexis, who's my stylist now. She'd come in and she'd show me all these different looks, and some of them would be way too bizarre for me to go to so quickly. But I think it's been a gradual change from when I first came out to where I am now. And I think all that's accredited to, as I said earlier, just becoming a man. And I love clothes at this point, so it's like a game now. Like, what can I do unique for me that no one else is doing? Ocean 6 is a group of fly young men. Jermaine Dupri, Usher Raymond, Jonte Austin, Brian Michael Cox, myself, and So Def employee Tyrone, and Ty National is what we call them. And we all got like code names and stuff. So it's really like Rat Pack, Ocean 11-ish. And it's just showing how to have fun. Like, we do the blogs and we go out, we take nightlife pics, and it's just, it's cool to see. It's cool for me because they've been in the game for a while, and for them to embrace me, I was the last member, for them to bring me into their clique was truly like an honor. Like, cause I never thought I'd be in any kind of group, cause I kind of stand alone. I like to think it so anyway. And if I was to be involved in a group, it would be something like that, whereas a lot of people that stand alone on their own, like everyone in the group can stand alone outside of the group. So when the group comes together and we just kick it, and we got a mixtape coming out soon, and it came from a bond. Like, JD's on the album, Jonte's on the album, and Brian Cox is on the album as well. And it came from just a bond that started in the studio, and they witnessing me like, he's a cool young guy, like, you know what I mean? So they pulled me in their group. Well, Songs for Peace is basically something that I started for inner city kids, young urban youth. Because if you look at the statistics of who's shooting who nowadays, the murder rate is going up, but the number in ages is going down. And I strongly believe that when you get into a position that I'm in, your voice means a lot. Like, what you say can change people's lives. You know, I go places and little girls fall out just from seeing me sometimes. So imagine if I use that power for good. And what we do is we have panels. I'm a partner in this with Noonie G. Ward, who's a former gangster's disciple of Chicago, high-ranking member. And we've only had 2 panels so far, one in Chicago, one in Virginia. We started, and we'll have like maybe a celebrity locally, like a local artist or a local DJ from the radio station. We'll have a state's attorney, a police officer, high-ranking, and just have the good and the bad laid out. And also praise them for positivity. That if they're doing positive, we praise them and let them know. We give away free book bags, we give away free school materials, and just we sit there and rap with the kids for about 2 hours, just real rap, like not preaching to them, just have them talk to us as well and have them feel comfortable to tell us what's going on in their community and for us to give them hope. Because when you live in an urban community and all you see is despair and you see all this violence and it's always somber, it's hard to think outside of that because that's all you see. And to believe that you can be more than what you're surrounded by, it takes a little encouragement, unless you're a special type of person that can see through all of that at an early age. And a lot of these kids, they got their moms aren't there or their dads aren't there, and they're raised by their aunts, and if they are there, they're working 2 jobs, so they're out in the streets and they're being raised by each other. So I think it's very important that youth be encouraged and taught by not only people of my caliber, but people within the community that they can do much better, and that violence gets you nowhere. My mother was an exceptional mother. The support that I had within my family, from all the women in my family. There weren't too many men in my family. My father wasn't there. My stepfather and my mother separated after a short while. And I think they did a good job. There wasn't too many programs. I did attend a recreational parks program, but my mother worked there, so I went with her. And she was a young mom, but she was very stern on making sure I grew up a certain way, as well as my grandma. And I attribute a lot of the man that I am to them and the support system they gave me. And I think In a lot of communities, there are programs like that. Like you got the Police Athletic League, you got the Boys and Girls Club, you got YMCA. But in the same token, there's so many communities where you don't have any of that. So it's important. I like to bowl, I like to play basketball, I like to play video games. I'm very ordinary when I'm not myself, the artist, the performer, the entertainer. I like to do nothing. I like to sit and watch TV if I have time to, lay out, sleep, rest, work out. And I kind of bask in just being me and nobody bothering me. And, you know, I go home and I play basketball with my little brother. I'm very much a family man. And I spend a lot of my downtime with my family, my little cousins, my aunties, my little brothers. And I love that. I think the roles of family and God are very instrumental in my life. Because within being an entertainer and being caught up in so many different things and moving so fast and women being thrown at you and your life being so fast-paced, it's easy to lose your footing. And I think family and God keep me grounded, keep me humble, let me realize that I'm no different from any other man, truly. Because I've seen it happen so many times to other people. Get caught up in the rapture of being a star and thinking you're better than the next man and all that. And I think my family and God play a huge role in making sure that I remain polite, I remain a gentleman, I remain respectful and hardworking and not a man who expects anything to be given to him, but anticipate to get what I deserve. I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your love and appreciation, and most definitely thank you for your purchase. You can check me out at TreySongz.com, myspace.com/Trey Songz, or you can Twitter me, twitter.com/SONGZYUUUP.